The differences between doing business in America and in Europe are wild. So I organize tours for homeschooling families around, I guess, the whole world, but recently we started doing that in Europe specifically, and I've been traveling around Europe for a long time. But doing business in Europe is a different kind of animal. Our American expectations of efficiency and tech savviness are just like completely out the window. And generally, I actually really love cultural differences. I think it's super fun to compare, like between, let's say, America and other countries or other continents. In this case, Europe as a continent. But here, I'm just like in complete shock of how business is done in Europe. Maybe it is different in big cities though, based on the experience that I've had. It's not really that much different. Some aspects are different. But if you're trying to organize tours to smaller towns in Europe, like they're not in the middle of nowhere. They're big towns, but they're smaller towns than, let's say, like the capitals, right? It is a mind fuck. So let me like kind of run through some of the things that we've encountered. So like, for example, a lot of businesses have no ability to actually take payment for their services besides like cash or a bank transfer. So as an American business, we do not have a European bank account, so we cannot do a bank transfer the same way Europeans can, like the IBAN or whatever. Our bank transfers are really complicated and they take a very long time, especially international bank transfers. So it's just not a good option at all. Like, it's cumbersome, it's a ton of information that has to be filled out, and it's just like a really, really bad way of paying. So like, businesses here most of the time don't take credit card for payment. They want either everything in cash, even if it's like $5,000, which is mind-blowing. Some businesses will take credit cards. So then when it comes to booking, like, again, you can't book anything online. You can't reserve anything online, like with your credit card. Everything has to be done. Like, you send an inquiry to the business and then they respond to you, and they take forever to respond to you. That's another crazy thing. Like, again, differences between like America and Europe. In America, like, you expect quick responses. You expect very like fast efficiency, I guess. And here, you would be lucky if one business out of the 5 that you emailed or submitted an inquiry on their website will actually respond to you over email. And I know that they have like a much better work-life balance, but it has gotten so bad in our experience that basically most of the time they don't even respond at all. And if they do respond, it takes like weeks to respond. Another interesting peculiarity, and this is not, just businesses, it's like general, like communicating with people in general, I think. But they don't answer your questions. So you would be like emailing them and asking a list of questions. Let's say you'll like list 5 questions to understand. And they will literally send you an email with a 1-word response, like yes or no. What they're responding to is unknown. Is it all of them yes? Is it all of them no? Like, what are you saying? So like, us trying to organize a month-long tour around Austria, it's, technically 2 weeks, because it's like one group 2 weeks, another group 2 weeks, it's kind of the same activities, has been agonizing because trying to get a hold of anyone is impossible. They don't answer emails. They almost never answer WhatsApps, which, like, WhatsApp is something that's used in Europe, and I've had much better luck getting a hold of people over their WhatsApp than I have over email or anything else. But particularly here in the mountains of Austria, it seems like they don't even check WhatsApp. Like, it never gets checked and they don't respond. The only sure way to get a hold of businesses here has been to literally physically walk up to the business and talk to them. And most of the time, they're like really nice and friendly and amazing in person, right? So you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't you respond my 1,500 emails and all of my WhatsApp calls and WhatsApp messages? The calls they respond to a little bit better, but still not super reliable. Another crazy thing is, like, we would email a company and be like, hey, so we have about 50-60 people that we want to bring to your establishment. Mind you, this is during dead season, okay? they normally don't even have any business during dead season. They'll be lucky if they'll have like 10 people in a week. We're asking, can we bring like 50, 60 people who are all paying customers? They're gonna probably buy a bunch of stuff, and obviously we're paying for whatever service they're providing. Can we bring them over on like this day that is the day that they're open? And they'd be like, no, 50 people is too much, we can't do that. And so like one I understand that if there's no capacity, like I totally get that, that's not a problem. But this was one particular business that they're like, no, we can't do it. It was like baking donuts in a farmhouse. We can't have 50 people on a farm. And I was like, really? I mean, must be really small farm. I was like, okay, I'll just take it at face value. They must not be able to. So one day we just took a small group to that same farm, and we brought a small group, and the farm is huge. There's more tables than like 100 people could fit there. There's tables, there's food, like it's donuts, right? They bake donuts, and it's drinks. Like it's not like, you need a ton of stuff for those people. And I'm like, why would you turn away business? But once I talked to them, that's the crazy part. So I talked to them and I was like, can we bring 50 people? Like, looks like you have plenty of room. The answer was, only if I'm here. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And so they would ask another question. The question wouldn't be answered. Now, obviously, there could be a huge language barrier, though in this case, it didn't seem like it. And so once we brought our 50 people, after they saw that, like, they bought a bunch of stuff, that it was a great time, the owners of the farm were like, oh, please bring more. We'd be happy to host you. We will open on any day. And I'm like, what the hell, you guys? Like, why such a 180? Why the switch up? Like, I send you an email, explain to you what's happening, like, and you're like, no, we can't have you. But then we come and now you want to have us. Like, do you want money? Like, do you want to make money or what? Another thing, and obviously everyone who has traveled around Europe knows this, things are just open at totally random times. So sometimes people will be like, okay, we will be here till this time. You show up at this time, and they're like, not there. So they left like 5 minutes early. Okay, whatever. Or like you'll show up and they're like, no, we decided to close early and we're closing up. And we're like, well, can we still do it? And they're like, no, because we already decided. Like, so there's very strong boundaries between like life rest, life work, which I think is very great. But at the same time, we've also talked to a lot of proprietors who are complaining about not having enough business or like things being slow season, yet they turn away like large groups of people who are paying a lot of money. Another crazy thing has been is like when there's a miscommunication or they get upset about something, they get like actually angry. And that's just so crazy to me, because in America there's such a thing as like professionalism, right? And you don't sit there and yell at people because your expectations were not met or whatever. There's customer service, so like you want the client to come back, and they get like visibly upset and they start yelling at you, and you're like, dude, why is this happening right now? Another thing that we have encountered is if, let's say, we say 60 people are coming for lunch, and we warn them, like, things can happen, people can get sick, people can change their mind. And then I feel like Americans change their mind so much, whether it's good or not. Like, good for them because they have the freedom to just change their mind, decide what they want to do. Not good for tours, because for us, we need like more strict counts. But like when dealing with Austrian, specifically like Austrian businesses, and saying, okay, like 50 people will come to the restaurant, and then like 5 will not come, for whatever reason, like not up to us. They just didn't show up, right? They lose their shit. They're like, you have to pay for those 5, even though it's not a prepaid thing, right? It was just like they buy what they want. They're like, how could you say that 50 are coming, but only 46 come? I'm like, I don't know. 4 people didn't show up. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't control the people. It's just really funny. There's so much more stuff I can tell you guys, and I'll keep doing these series on more of the cultural discrepancies on both business and personal side, because I think it's fun.